Hello everyone and welcome to Manakel's PvP Showcase. Today I got something very interesting for you guys. This is my regeneration build. I created this build on the stream recently, and after a bit of testing it actually seems to be a pretty viable build that you can use in PvP. It's not as powerful as regeneration builds in Demon Souls, but it still works pretty well, and it actually can give you a lot of wins in PvP if you know how to use it correctly. So first let me show you the items, and then I'll explain the stats and show you how the regeneration actually works. So in terms of items, I'm using the Crown of the Ivory King because it gives a life regen bonus. I'm using the Ring of Restoration, and I am using the Charred Lois Shield. Now you can also use the normal Lois Shield. It also has a regeneration effect, but I decided to go the charred way because I'm also using the Charred Lois armor. Yes, for those of you that will be telling me that the Charred Lois set has a life per kill effect on it, yes, I know about that, you don't have to tell me that, but you also have to know that it only applies the life per kill effect of the Charred Lois armor, or the normal Lois armor set, or the Ivory King armor set. All of those armor sets have that effect. That effect only applies if your character is female. It doesn't work on male characters. So I guess FromSoft is kinda sexist and thinks that women are sucking the life out of people, which is kinda insulting to women actually. I don't know, maybe Japanese people think like that, but that's kinda insulting in my opinion. But anyways, back to the topic. I'm using the Charred Lois set only for the look. I like the way the shield and armor looks with the weapon that I'm using, and the weapon I'm using is the Lightning Butcher's Knife. Lightning because this build is fade based basically. The Butcher's Knife is a interesting weapon. It has a lifesteal property on it. Every time you hit someone, you will leech a bit of his life, life back with every hit that connects. So basically it's a lifesteal weapon. The damage isn't great, but it's also not bad. If you use a weapon buff on this weapon, and you, for example, like a lightning weapon, lightning blade, and you have the weapon infused with something, it really has a nice punch on it. Like you will see in the PvP section of this video later, that I actually was one-shotting people with a backstab with this weapon. So it was doing around 1500 damage per backstab to some people. So it's a good weapon, I would say. The moveset is a bit clunky and a bit slow and hard to manage at first, but when you get used to it, it's not bad. The targeting is bad though. I had several occasions where someone would roll away after the initial first hit, and I wanted to do a second hit after a second of delay, and my character still did not turn around after my enemy and was basically facing the other direction and continued attacking. So the targeting is kinda bad, but overall the weapon is very good, I think. You just have to get used to it. So in terms of rings, I'm using of course the Fed Dragon Ring, Chloranti Ring +2, Ring of Restoration like I said, and Ring of Blades. Now the Ring of Restoration is kinda useless, but since this is a regeneration build, I decided to go for as much life per second as I can. You can switch this to maybe the Stone Ring or something else that suits you. I just decided the Ring of Restoration because, like I said, this is a regeneration build. So when you combine the Crown of the Ivory King, the Charred Lois Shield, or the normal Lois Shield, and the Ring of Restoration, you get a very small life regen effect. But what I usually do is combine that with Resplendent Life, with the Miracle Resplendent Life, and that gives me 60 seconds of very high life regeneration. And since usually most fights in PvP last around a minute, maximum 2 minutes, I usually have life regen for half the fight. So it's very useful. Let's jump into stats and I'll explain the rest, guys. So this is a very typical Fate build with high vigor, high endurance, 50 Fate, so I get most of my lightning damage, 50 vigor for a lot of life, 45 endurance for a lot of stamina. The butcher's knife that I'm using consumes a lot of stamina per hit, so you should have a lot of endurance to compensate for that. 22 vitality to be below 70% of equip load. 25 attunement. Now you don't need that much. As you can see, I have 5 attunement slots, and usually what spells I equip is Lightning Blade, that's 1. Resplendent Life, that's 2, because it uses 2 attunement slots, so I got 3 already used. I usually get Emit Force. I feel that Emit Force is a better range miracle than, for example, Lightning Spear or Great Lightning Spear, because it has the same amount of casts, but the animation is a bit different and it's a bit harder to roll through for a lot of people. Lightning Spear is very easy to roll through, but like I said, Emit Force is only for like catching up with people who are trying to run to heal or something like that. I usually don't use it that often, since it still doesn't hit that much and doesn't deal that much damage. And rest of the stats are... Oh, and the last spell, the last slot from my attunement points, I usually get Great Heal, because if, for example, you are invading as a blue spirit or a red phantom, most people will chug Estus, which is understandable since you want to kill them, so they will chug Estus. So a lot of times you will face people that will continue to chug Estus through the whole fight, and sooner or later you will probably get hit a few times and you'll be low on life. So having Great Heal allows you to just compensate for that and heal yourself, additionally to the life regen that this build has. Or for example, if you get summoned to a ward of a ganker, like a gank squad, and they start raping you, you can always run away and heal and try again. So I like to have Great Heal for that. The rest of the stats are pretty simple. Strain 25, because that's how much you need to use the butcher's knife. 16 dexterity, because you need 16 dexterity for the Child Lois set. Child Lois shield, I'm sorry. For the normal Lois shield you need only 15. So that depends on you, what you guys prefer. 19 adaptability to reach 100 agility, and that's all. And like I said, 50 fate for as much damage from lightning as I can. So as you can see, the spells, like I was saying, Resplendent Life, Great Heal, Emit Force, and Sunlight Blade. The Butcher's Knife with Sunlight Blade on it has a really high damage output, like I said. So it's a very good weapon if you get used to the moveset, and the lifesteal is very fun and very good in my opinion. So maybe I'll show you guys how the life regen works now. So to do that without PvP, just that I can talk to you, I'm gonna equip the Northern Ritual Band. The Northern Ritual Band +2 decreases your life by 50% when you equip it. So when I take it off, you will see a full life regen effect that this build has. So first let me cast the Resplendent Life, change it back to the shield, and let me turn on my stopwatch. And you see my life regenerating. As you can see, the life regen is very fast. Now you can use only Resplendent Life. It will not be as fast, but I really noticed that Resplendent Life itself is at least 3 times faster than the 3 stacked items that give life regen. So you can only use the Resplendent Life miracle and it will be almost as effective, but since, like I said, I wanted to have a full life regen effect, I decided to go with all of the items that give me life regen. So you see that we are almost full, regenerated fully, and it took me... Stop. So we are at 50 seconds. 50 seconds took me to regenerate 1000, almost 1100 life in 60 seconds. So 1100 life, of more or less by 50 seconds, that's 22 life per second. So I think that's not bad. Additionally, you have, this build has the weapon that still steals life, and the life steal is actually not bad also itself. So when you combine that, it's kind of a powerful build. For 60 seconds, it's really hard to kill you. If someone doesn't backstab you and kill you in one hit, you probably can just avoid getting hit, like roll and wait for your life to regen. So it's very potent in my opinion for PvP. It's like I said, it's not even close to as good as life regen builds in Demon Souls, but for a Dark Souls game, I think it's very good. For those of you that would be interested in seeing a life per kill build, I will also be doing a life regen plus life per kill build on a female character. But that's gonna be a PvE build that I want to just show you guys. For now, I hope you enjoyed this one. So now I will just show you the PvP section of this build. If you enjoyed the video, guys, please remember to like, subscribe and comment. It's really nice for me to see that you guys enjoy the videos. It's nice for me to see your comments or more subscribers. It makes me want to make even more videos and even better videos, because I know then that what I am doing is interesting for some people. So I hope you enjoyed the PvP section. I hope you enjoyed this build. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.